Wow, indeed. How times change. Just a few short years ago, Volvo was at the forefront of what I like to call the mad dash for electrification, picking up all those woke brownie points by betting the farm on EVs being the future of the automotive industry. This legendary brand built its reputation on its reliable and hard-working petrol and diesel models, many of which are still on the road today, decades after they were manufactured. Now that's what genuine environmental friendliness looks like, by the way. But the green Kool-Aid was too strong for the Volvo executives who, drunk on its toxic ingredients, abandoned their heritage and reputation without even a backward glance in their ridiculous decision to end production of internal combustion engine vehicles in 2030. No hybrids, no ICEs, just pure battery EVs, nothing else. And today we read the catastrophic news that Volvo's EV sales are down by 65% for the first quarter of 2024. Now that's what I call a reality check. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description, and there's a code on the screen. Scan that with your phone if you want to sign up for a weekly MGUY email. It'd be great to have you on board. Go on to any car sales website and you'll find loads of old Volvo 240s and 850s with almost cosmological levels of kilometres still going strong. If you wanted a rugged, reliable hauler, a Volvo estate or wagon would have been up there at or near the top of the list. Developed in the unforgiving Swedish climate, they were designed to be tough. I remember a comedian, it might have been Jasper Carrot. I tried unsuccessfully to find it on YouTube, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, doing a routine about Volvos and how you can't turn off the side lights, ever. They came on with the ignition and stayed on until you turned it off. The guy said he'd seen a Volvo that had been crushed into a tiny cube, and the side lights were still on. Funny, I know, but it had an element of truth to it. The lights were always on because Sweden was dark for so much of the year, so the cars were built for that environment. But now they've abandoned all that and gone full woke, building EVs for urban green soy boys rather than proper cars for the tough country they were originally designed for. Here in Australia, it was even worse. We were told that we'd not see a petrol or diesel Volvo after 2026, just 2 years away, as announced as recently as the end of 2022. Volvo Australia to go all EV by 2026, Swedish brand to axe all combustion models within 5 years. Volvo has announced it will only sell electric vehicles in Australia from 2026 as it looks to boost its market share and take advantage of booming interest in EVs. What were they smoking? The aggressive EV-only timeline cuts at least 4 years off a global edict from the Swedish brand to stop selling vehicles powered by internal combustion engines, ICE, by 2030. The move is all about positioning Volvo, which became Australia's first fully electrified auto brand in 2021, as an early EV mover and a brand that can tackle the mostly unchallenged electric car might of Tesla. We see an opportunity in our marketplace today. I think our consumers are ready for this, said Volvo Car Australia Managing Director Stephen Connor in announcing the 2026 plan to become an EV-only brand. I'm sorry, I just cannot help laughing at this. You can't lie with the facts that the Australian consumer is now looking for change. No, they're not. Connor said Volvo has got the demand for EVs and he wants to satisfy it with new models. We've agreed on a local level in Australia, we're not going to wait until 2030. I put a proposal to Gothenburg the other day and we will be full electric in Australia by 2026. Unbelievable. Fast forward just 18 months and the story is turned on its head, as Auto News reports. Volvo's Q1 EV sales plunge, a momentary blip or a sign its 2030 plan is in jeopardy. Let me think. I wonder which I think it is. Volvo EV sales in the US plummeted 65% in the Q1. According to Cox estimates, it was the largest year-over-year percentage decline in the luxury segment. Volvo Cars is all in on electric vehicles, vowing to go all electric in 2030. Unfortunately for the brand, consumers in the world's two largest auto markets aren't as enthusiastic about its zero-emissions offerings. US sales of Volvo's battery-powered XC40 Recharge and C40 Recharge crossovers plummeted 65% in the first quarter to just 970 vehicles. According to Cox Automotive estimates, it was the largest year-over-year percentage decline in the luxury segment. Volvo's first quarter drop followed a 27% slide in battery electric vehicle sales in the fourth quarter of 2023. Meanwhile, in China, Volvo's electric vehicle sales tumbled 28% in the January to March period. The EV adoption curve in the US has shifted from a hockey stick to a gentler curve as the industry moves from the early adopter market to the more skeptical mainstream consumer, with little tolerance for paying a premium for new technology and the patience to put up with slow charging. According to Cox, EV sales in the first quarter rose 2.6% year-over-year. That's significantly slower than the 46% year-over-year EV sales increase in the same period in 2023. Ernie Norcross, owner of Volvo Cars Memphis in Tennessee, said dealers are accepting fewer EVs from the factory. "We just don't see the consumer interested in EVs," he said. "BEV or bust might not be a good strategy right now." I would tend to agree with that. Volvo executives tried hard to spin it, but it just doesn't wash. Diana Kennedy, general manager of Volvo Cars Marin in California, said pricing is driving the electric market. She said swollen inventories have forced automakers to be super aggressive with incentives and pricing, noting the $299 lease payment that Geely-controlled Polestar began offering this month on the Polestar 2 electric sedan. "People want to buy electric vehicles, but there are far more choices and it's a buyer's market," Kennedy said. Nope. No, they don't. That's why your sales have plunged by almost 2/3 in one quarter. Like I've said on so many occasions, the only thing propping up EV sales are the 3 Fs: fanboys, fleets and freebies. In other words, devoted EV buyers, massive corporates and government incentives and subsidies. Take them away and the market evaporates. It will, admittedly, be very interesting to see Volvo's reaction to this. Will it be doubling down on the mad EV crusade, or will some reality creep back into the Swedish brand's forward planning? Here's a tip: build the cars people actually want to buy, not the ones that governments tell you to build. I can guarantee your bottom line will thank you for it.